Streaming live now on News8000.com. You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now, this weekend.
Good evening, and thank you for watching News 8 Now this weekend. I'm Michael Germain. A third-party political campaign ad will start airing tomorrow on WKBT. Its content may be considered graphic, but as news anchor Ken Kozarowski explains, our station is legally required to air it.
Randall Terry is the Constitution Party candidate on the ballot for president in 13 states, including Wisconsin.
My mission is not to win. My mission is to cause Kamala to lose.
The longtime pro-life activist is courting 3% of African American and Catholic Democratic voters to keep the pro-abortion Kamala Harris from winning the White House.
Statistics show that when people see aborted babies, they react.
His latest 30-second ad shows images of aborted fetuses.
Imagine fighting anti-Semitism without showing pictures of Jews' bodies in Auschwitz. Graphic images are a part of how social revolutions take place. They must be used. They make us all uncomfortable, but they have a profound impact on the viewer.
Political ads are protected speech under the First Amendment, and federal law says broadcast TV stations like WKBT can't put any restrictions on that content.
First Amendment is all about creating that space for all types of ideas to be presented, and then for people to use their critical thinking abilities to assess the pros and cons.
These laws are the last bastion of free speech. I cannot compel any other form of communication to just say what I'm saying as a candidate, except for FCC licensed TV and radio stations.
Chergosky says such an ad can invite blowback on a candidate.
We have seen in the past that when a politician or a group crosses the line, it backfires and it makes their ideas less popular.
But Terry says he knows he's not going to be president, so the ad will do its job.
I'd have no fear of them backfiring, zero.
Terry has been airing the ad for roughly a week in markets across the state. The last day of Oktoberfest began with the annual Parade Marshal Pancake Breakfast. Former parade marshals served 400 to 500 people this morning. All-you-can-eat pancakes, sausage, and orange juice were enjoyed by attendees. The event is a longtime tradition that brings members of the community together before enjoying the final day of Oktoberfest.
Just a fun day, and for all of us parade marshals to come together to put on a nice event for the community.
He estimates over 1,000 pancakes were made this morning. The breakfast serves as a fundraiser for both the Oktoberfest parade marshals and the North La Crosse Business Association.
Yeah, it was a great day out there to enjoy the last day of Oktoberfest. A little bit more summer-like, not really feeling like the end of September out there, but we've gotten used to it at this point. We've been in the 80s for a couple days now. Here's our observed highs for today. Got up to 82 in Eau Claire, 83 in La Crosse. Most of us really see in the 80s, maybe a stray upper 70 out there or two, but otherwise well above average for this year. This time of year, we're looking at usually seeing around 65 to 70 for our highs, so we're nearly 15 degrees above above average in many locations. Definitely a warm one, but we're getting used to it for this time of year, and we're gonna have one more day of those 80s as we get into Monday. But we still do have that River Valley fog popping up as well. We're gonna see some denser areas out in central Wisconsin as well, but this should all be moved out and dissipated by the late morning, as it usually is. Other than that, with the visibility issues in the morning, it's gonna be pretty nice. Clear skies after that fog burns off, and then getting up into the 70s already as we get into the afternoon hours. So again, we're gonna have that warm start on Monday, but then we're gonna see some gustier conditions with a pretty good cool down coming as we get into the middle part of the week, but I'll dive into it in the next full forecast.
Sounds like a plan. Nicole, thank you for that. The 51st annual Warren's Cranberry Festival wrapped up today, but the celebration isn't complete without the parade. Thousands of spectators have gathered to enjoy marching bands, drill teams, and a mix of clubs and organizations. Since its inaugural festival in 1973, which attracted over 3,000 attendees, this weekend is expected to welcome more than 100,000 visitors. And for many, it's a special opportunity to support their loved ones in the parade.
I'm very excited to see her, and we had a lot of fun when she was in the parade at the 4th of July, so this is a nice follow-up to see how much the band has improved.
The festival's mission is to promote the common good and welfare of the Warrens community. Over the 3-day celebration, attendees can explore 800 arts and crafts vendors and 300 flea market booths. The state of Alabama is being sued by the U.S. Justice Department after the state removed 3,000 names from the eligible list of voters for the upcoming federal election. Stay with us. That's up next.
The greatest meal deal for your buck? Hardee's Original Bag. Just $5.99. Loaded with your choice of 2 full-size favorites, plus fries and a drink. All for just $5.99. Hardee's. Goodness in the making.
We're cranking up the voltage, Wisconsin. Lottery retailers all around the state are lighting up with the latest limited time offer. It's Badger 5. 5 will get you 6. During the month of September, players who buy a $5 or greater Badger 5 ticket will receive a bonus ticket for the next drawing of Badger 5. This electric offer is only available for a limited time and only at Wisconsin lottery retailers.
Over the last few years, we've redefined what working remotely means, and so is the Ford F-150. Bring your desk wherever you go with a flat interior work surface. Drop down the tailgate to get it all done, and plug in what you need outside the cab with available Pro Power on board. How's that for upping your productivity? Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Get 2.9% financing for 66 months, plus up to $9,900 in total savings on a new Ford F-150 XLT. Only at your local Northland Ford dealers.
Every morning in hardworking America, Hardee's biscuit makers rise to bake our original made-from-scratch biscuits. Famous since 1977 and still the greatest goodness around. Find the best deals on the Hardee's app.
What is a hero? Not the kind from comic books and movies, saving the day. We're talking about everyday heroes, those with a special kind of courage or ability, those saving the day, one person at a time. News 8 Now wants to find those heroes and thank them for bettering our community. Go to news8000.com, click on Features, then Hometown Heroes to nominate someone you feel is truly a hometown hero. Expect more from News 8 Now. Thanks for watching.
Israel struck more targets in Lebanon Sunday, pressing Hezbollah with new attacks after killing their Iran-backed group's leader and a string of other leaders. President Biden says an all-out war has to be avoided and that he plans to speak to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The relationship between the two leaders has been strained after the Biden administration did not receive advance warning of the Israeli strike that killed Hezbollah's leader. But National Security Council's John Kirby says that Hezbollah leadership being decimated works to the Israelis' advantage and is good for the region. Today marks 37 days until Election Day, and both candidates are on the campaign trail today. Vice President Kamala Harris rallies with supporters in Nevada, and Donald Trump was in Pennsylvania, where his rhetoric is drawing new scrutiny.
But if we win in Pennsylvania, we will win the whole thing.
In battleground Pennsylvania, former President Donald Trump rallied supporters with a familiar focus: immigration.
This is an invasion, and these people are mean, tough.
It comes after Vice President Kamala Harris visited the southern border during a campaign stop Friday in Arizona, where she criticized Trump for opposing a congressional border bill earlier this year.
He prefers to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. I reject the false choice that suggests we must either choose between securing our border or creating a system of immigration that is safe, orderly, and humane.
In Pennsylvania tonight, Trump doubled down on personal attacks against Harris.
Crooked Joe Biden became mentally impaired, sad. But Lion Kamala Harris, honestly, I believe she was born that way. She's a stupid person. Stupid person.
The comments echoed the harsh rhetoric he used yesterday in Wisconsin, and today some allies urged him to focus on Harris's policies.
I just think the better course to take is to prosecute the case that her policies are destroying the country. They're crazy liberal.
And this week, the spotlight will be on the running mates. J.D. Vance and Tim Walz were off the campaign trail today, prepping for the first and only vice presidential debate Tuesday, October 1st, right here on CBS. Caitlin Huey-Burns, CBS News, Erie, Pennsylvania.
The U.S. Justice Department is suing Alabama after the state removed more than 3,000 names from the eligible list of voters for the upcoming federal election. The voter purge violates a 90-day period before an election during which officials can't systematically remove people from the list of voters. Alabama's GOP Secretary of State says he removed the names because they were allegedly non-citizens, but he acknowledged some may have become citizens and may be eligible to vote. More than 700 people removed from the list have since re-registered successfully. The Justice Department says all of the people should be returned to the list so they can vote on Election Day. Coming up on News 8, how many southern communities are dealing with the aftermath of a Category 4 hurricane.
We're going to have one more day in the 80s, and then we're going to have a pretty big pattern shift with some cooler temperatures and some breezier conditions. I'll have a full look at your forecast coming up after the break.
Scouting has helped them build confidence through problem solving, learning to cook over a fire, building a tent in areas that they don't always get exposed to.
It's not competitive. It really helps develop your son or daughter into a great human being.
This is a great opportunity for your child to get to know the outdoors, and there's so much that outside and nature can provide for our children, and having these experiences is what Scouting is all about.
Their Bidenomics led to the highest inflation in 40 years, highest gas prices ever, skyrocketing interest rates, unaffordable housing, incomes down, unemployment rising, and a recession now headed our way. Yet Kamala Harris is clueless.
We are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Dings, dents, scratches, big crunches. You know where to bring them. Pischke Motors Collision Center on 2nd Street in downtown La Crosse. This is a Pischke Motors Collision Center hail alert. If your vehicle was damaged in one of the recent storms, bring it down to our drive-in lanes for a quick estimate. We help with insurance claims and get your vehicle back in shape at Pischke Motors Collision Center. So when the dings, dents, scratches, and even the big crunches happen, bring them to Pischke Motors Collision Center on 2nd Street in downtown La Crosse.
Thousands of our heroes face the difficult choice between keeping their heat and power on or facing homelessness. 21,000 Wisconsin veterans are living below the poverty line. Wisconsin loses 3 veterans to suicide every week. Together, our mission is to provide all struggling Wisconsin veterans with a critical survival safety net. You can make a real difference by providing a donation to the Wisconsin Heat and Housing for Heroes initiative.
Jason's been with us long enough now to see changes in Michael's abilities. He can analyze them and tailor his recommendations because he has almost as much knowledge of Michael's health as Michael's doctors do. I think that's huge. That is the single biggest factor for me. And that kind of client relationship is invaluable, especially when you're facing the challenges that we are.
Hi, I'm Jason with Access Elevators. Stop in and see us today.
Clear Choice Window and Home Solutions, your choice for quality, affordable windows, installed by our experienced team. Contact us or stop into our showroom today for your free estimate.
Communities across 5 states in the South are continuing to clean up following Helene. At least 76 people have been confirmed dead from the storm. As CBS Christian Benavides reports, the Carolinas are seeing unprecedented levels of damage, with authorities rushing to airlift supplies and restore communications.
The city of Asheville, North Carolina is underwater. Across the state, wrecked roads have isolated some communities where power, along with internet and cell phone service, is out.
Water is a big concern right now as well, and so we have sent bottled water in, but we also have the Army Corps of Engineers that's getting ready to start assessments today to see what we can do to help get those water systems back online quickly.
It's so difficult to reach some of the areas most impacted, the state is now airlifting supplies.
A number of mass feeding sites have been open.
Water, food, and other supplies are coming into Asheville, and they're also being airlifted from there to surrounding counties.
Supplies are running low in South Carolina, too, where long lines of cars are growing outside gas stations.
We've went through 9,000 gallons of gas since early this morning. We're out of ice, water, gas cans.
Tennessee and Georgia are cleaning up as well, where flash flooding led to a number of rescues, devastating communities. Parts of Florida recorded more than 15 feet of storm surge. Governor Ron DeSantis is touring some of the devastation. Rescue teams are also going door to door to ensure residents are safe. Cristian Benavides, CBS News.
North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper said during a press conference Sunday, this is an unprecedented tragedy that requires an unprecedented response. Well, warm temperatures expected throughout La Crosse this week. Let's send it over to meteorologist Nicole Skalicki on when we can expect the temperatures to drop back down.
Yeah, we usually are seeing 80s for this time of year. However, we've had an extended amount of time with it. If we take a look at the average last day that we see the 80s, it's usually around October 3rd, and that's right around the corner, just a couple of days from now. So we're really on par. But something fun about this time of year, especially in these transitional seasons, not only are you usually seeing 80s in the beginning of October, you're usually also starting to see your first freeze. Now, I don't want to scare anybody. We're not really anticipating a freeze to happen in this week, but it's something to keep in the back of our heads, just as a reminder that usually the 80s, especially for this long of a stretch, aren't that common for this time of year. So taking a look at this map, just that northern county, Rusk County, is really the one that sees it first, usually towards the end of September. Then it starts to trickle down a little bit into some other counties in this little purple color. Seeing that first frost usually towards the end of September until we get into the October dates down here in these counties. Now, we're going to hold off on this for a little bit. If you haven't seen your first frost yet, it's not going to happen for a couple more weeks, hopefully, because we don't really have any too cold temperatures on our way. Now, we are expecting this cool down, but again, it's not going to get as cold as that. As we can see, there's that cooler air coming down from Canada. It's going to linger over us into Tuesday, but other than that, it's really not sticking around for too long. We're going to have mild weather continue for the rest of the week after that, with that colder air really just staying just to the north of us and not really dropping down really after that. So here's a look at our high temperatures coming up for La Crosse. We got one more day up here on Monday. We're still going to be 14 degrees above average, and then there's that cold front, that big cooling effect, still 1 degree above average though. So even though we're finally getting that cool down, we're just barely at where we should be for this time of year. And then for the rest of the week, we'll be slightly above normal. However, it's still going to feel a lot more seasonable for this time of year after this warm stretch. Just yesterday, 19 degrees above average in Eau Claire. And then looking at tomorrow, still seeing those 80s, but again, we're dropping even below normal, 2 degrees below normal for Tuesday. And then after that, kind of a little bit wonky with these temperatures. It is fall, so you kind of you kind of start to get some crazy temperatures going on once we finally start to get on that cooling trend. Now, with that cold front, we're not expecting any precipitation, but there are going to be some gustier conditions coming along with it. Here's that front edge of the cold front moving through. Again, this is going to be Wednesday night. We're going to see sustained winds jumping towards 20 miles an hour at times, going through that nighttime period. Now, as we get into Tuesday morning, we'll see some stronger winds sticking around. However, the strongest of them are staying in the nighttime. Here's a look at the wind gust tracker. We're seeing gusts anywhere just near 30 miles an hour, potentially getting over that at times. So it's going to be a little bit breezy as we go into Monday night. And again, those can continue on into Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon as well. However, we're looking at Monday night being the strongest of that period. So for tonight, staying calm. We're not really seeing any of those windier conditions yet. And then tomorrow, again, one last hot day, seeing the low 80s across much of the area. Tuesday with that big cool down, but remember, that's really around average for this time of year. We should be seeing the 60s, or at least the upper 60s for most days, but I won't complain about the mid to low 70s. I think that's perfect weather, especially after these 80s.
Yeah, can't complain with 70s, but 80s in September, I don't know why. I didn't think that was average.
Well, we don't have to think about that now. It's almost October.
You're right, Nicole, thank you. And now it's time to announce the chosen Picturing Our Community photo for the week. This week's winner is Jenna Ray Mills of La Crosse with Good Night September Sky. Look at that beautiful sunset. Absolutely breathtaking there. Every week we pick a photo to be shared in a gallery on our website at news8000.com and socially on our News 8 Now Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram. If you would like to participate, just head to news8000.com, click on Submit Photos and Videos under the Home tab, then click on Picturing Our Community and enter your photo. New winner will be chosen every Friday, announced Sunday night, and then showcased online Monday morning. Coming up in sports, the Packers look to hand the Vikings their first loss of the season. Meanwhile, Minnesota was hoping to stay unbeaten today at Lambeau Field. Highlights and some post-game reaction from Green Bay right after the break.
News 8 Now Sports is brought to you by Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, with 6 locations of fun.
While families struggle to pay bills, Harris and the Democrats are wasting our tax dollars on their extreme liberal agenda, giving government checks to illegal immigrants, funding a Madison clinic where minors get transgender therapy without parents' consent, pushing high schools to allow boys to compete in girls' sports. Senator Baldwin fights for this madness. Tammy Baldwin, radical, extreme, and wrong.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
There are trucks, and then there's the GMC Sierra, available with the connected driving experience and the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. GMC Sierra. It's the truck. Get 0% APR on 2024 Sierra 1500 Denali models. That's over $6,400 in average finance savings.
Visit your best choice GMC dealer today.
Now's the time to get a great deal on taking care of your property. You need the #1 selling subcompact tractor in the U.S. so you can do it all and do it right. Z-Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed.
Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 60 months, plus save up to $1,200. Visit any of your Johnson Tractor dealerships in Menominee, Baldwin, Osseo, and Arcadia.
Small businesses are the backbone of our community. These places employ us, sponsor the Little League team, and feed and clothe us. That's why I'm proud of the work I've done to support our business community. I know that the side of the aisle you're on matters less than being on the side of our main streets.
No party has a monopoly on good ideas.
I'm Steve Doyle, and I'm working for our businesses, working for our communities, and I'm working for you.
Covering all of the exciting action from your community, here's News 8 Now Sports.
Well, each of the last 4 years, the Packers and Vikings have split the regular season series. It's been a pretty even go of it lately, an important early season matchup in Lambeau today. Green Bay hoping to hand Minnesota their first loss of the season, but it was a dream start for the Vikings. Just over 3 minutes into the game, it's Sam Darnold dropping one into the bucket to Jordan Addison to get the scoring started. Then 21-0 picked this one up in favor of the Vikes in the second quarter when Jordan Love's pass is picked off by Shaquille Griffin. He returns it inside the 5-yard line, and things would go from bad to worse for the green and gold. No Jair Alexander in the secondary to line across Justin Jefferson, and here Jettas wins his matchup against Keyshawn Nixon, and that makes it 28-zip Vikings. Packers trying to get some momentum going into the locker room. Jordan Love is going to drop a dime out to Jaden Reed in the second-year wideout. Makes a great contested catch to get the home side on the board. Then in the fourth quarter, it starts to get interesting. Love's going to hit Tucker Kraft, and he is not going down easily. He barrels his way into the pylon, and that's another score. A minute left in the game here now, and Green Bay inching closer. It's Love surveying the field, finding Dontavian Wicks across the middle for his second score of the day. So the Packers need an onside kick recovery to keep their hopes alive, but it is recovered by the Vikings. Sloppy game, 5 turnovers for the Packers, 2 missed field goals by Braden Narvison, and our own Kate Overton was there and has the full post-game report.
Yeah, Jacob, it was an electric atmosphere here in Green Bay, but the Packer comeback fell just short. Jordan Love was making his first start since getting injured in Week 1, and there were a lot of question marks on how he would hold up as he was facing a Viking defense that had been dominant early in the season. Minnesota entered the contest only giving up 10 points a game, and they kept that momentum rolling early in Lambeau, holding the Packers to just 7 first-half points. Love would finish 32 of 54, throwing 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. The Packers needed a lot of second-half points, but the comeback would fall short. Maybe not the return he wanted, but it's a step forward to the remainder of the season.
Just wasn't playing well enough. I think ball placement was a little all over the place today, kind of throughout the whole game, and I think it picked up later. But yeah, I think early on just missed a couple of throws and was a little bit off, and made it hard on some of the receivers on some of those plays.
2 missed field goals, 8 penalties, a number of drop passes, and 4 turnovers also slowed the Packer offense, leading to their 5th loss against the Vikings in their last 8 matchups.
How in the NFL, like, the margin for error is so low, and we just got to come out there and compete with relentless effort, play after play, and we just made mistakes. You can't do that.
On the defensive side of the ball, the Packers came out flat, and the Vikings took advantage. Minnesota scored a touchdown on 3 of their first 4 drives, with Sam Darnold starting 10 of 13 for 130 yards and 3 touchdowns. By the time the Packer offense got going, the game was nearly out of reach.
No, they just outplaying us. That's just simple as that. We bounced back in the second half, but can't start slow in the division. That's just how it go.
These 2 teams won't go again until December 29th, and when they do, I have a feeling there are going to be some playoff implications at stake. But there's a long season until then, and a lot of things could change. Reporting in Green Bay, Kate Overton, News 8 Now.
Good stuff, Kate. Thank you very much. Brewers in action in game 162. Facing the Mets, Brandon Nimmo gets New York on the board as the throw from Blake Perkins from center is a tad late, and Francisco Lindor scores. Then in the 4th, Francisco Alvarez delivers with a run-producing hit. J.D. Martinez is going to touch home to add to the away side's lead. And the Mets needed this one to keep their chances tomorrow in hopes of keeping their season alive. Mets shut out the Crew. Milwaukee will find out who they play in the wild card round tomorrow. It'll be either the Mets or Diamondbacks. And I'm sorry for the Minnesota baseball fans. Have to bring it up. Today the season did end for the Twins, falling by 4 to Baltimore in what was a weekend sweep. Minnesota dropped 27 of their final 39 games to free fall out of a playoff spot that one time seemed well within reach. And back to those Brewers for a second. We'll figure out who they've got in the NL Wild Card Series tomorrow. As I mentioned, New York and Atlanta have a 2-game set, and that will decide it. So that's all for sports. More news right after this.
With Chevy trucks, be ready for adventure. With power you can count on. Capability that doesn't compromise. A hard-working EV with more range than any competitor and the potential to take you anywhere.
Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups. Or get $5,750 total value on this Silverado. Visit HometownChevy.com.
My husband and I are going through IVF treatments now. It could be our only chance to have a family. But Donald Trump's plan could ban IVF in some states. My husband is in the military. He volunteered to serve. We are patriots and we go where he is assigned. What if we end up in a state where IVF is no longer legal? What will we do then?
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
News 8 Now and Dairyland Power Cooperative present the Community Calendar.
Join us for the 25th Annual Fall Gift and Craft Show at the Onalaska Omni Center. Over 100 vendors with a wide variety of crafts, gifts, home decor, jewelry, clothing, art, and much more. The La Crosse Area Farmers Market Association is holding the Friday Cameron Park Farmers Market now through October 25th.
For more information on these events, or if you'd like to submit an event, visit news8000.com.
There are over 21,000 Wisconsin veterans struggling to pay for rent and utilities.
Thank you for your service.
Many are also facing issues with their mental health.
Thank you for your service.
We must do more to help these heroes who have already sacrificed so much.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
Words simply aren't enough.
I'm sorry.
Make a difference by donating to this critical Wisconsin survival safety net today.
One of the biggest mistakes you can make when shopping for a car is committing to a loan payment. Once you do that, you've lost control over the entire transaction. Control over the price of the car, what you're going to get in trade, maybe even your interest rate. So if you want someone to help you along with this transaction, give me a call or one of my great loan officers.
Everybody's welcome at Firefighters Credit Union.
Drone video released by researchers shows a newborn calf born to an endangered orca population in the Pacific Northwest. Now, the new offspring brings hope to the so-called southern resident killer whales, which have struggled to increase number of years. The drone footage shows a days-old calf off the San Juan Islands swimming with its mother, known as L90. The calf was given the identifier of L128. Both are part of the L pod. As of July, the southern resident killer whales numbered 73 individuals. Among several problems plaguing them is the decline of their primary food source, Chinook salmon. Calves also face a high mortality rate, partially because of toxins in their mother's milk. That's according to Center for Whale Research. Earth now has a second moon, at least for a while. A newly discovered asteroid is joining the Earth's orbit. Scientists call it a mini-moon. They estimate it's only about 37 feet in diameter, but more observations are needed. The mini-moon is expected to orbit the Earth starting Sunday, going through November 25th. That's when the space rock will return to the heliocentric orbit, which is an orbit around the sun. Scientists say the asteroid is more than 2.5 million miles away and is not in danger of colliding with Earth. Stay with us. We'll have one final check of your forecast when we return.
See the stories you missed or watch them again on our YouTube page. Or find us at news8000.com.
Is your personal injury lawyer trying to sell you a settlement that you don't think is fair? You need a lawyer who won't settle your case just to move on to the next one. Get the full compensation you deserve. Get Bygoff and Rohde.
It's Jeep Adventure Days at Chrysler Winona. Lease a new 2024 Jeep Compass Limited for $359 down and $359 per month. With comforts like heated seats and steering wheel and legendary Jeep 4-wheel drive, you'll be ready for winter. Need more room? A new 3-row Jeep Grand Cherokee L with heated leather, sunroof, and a V6 engine, up to $10,000 MSRP. Or lease from $599 down and $599 per month. So see us today at our new location, Highway 61, Winona.
I remember coming home from school and pounding on the door, but my mother wouldn't answer. She'd be passed out inside. You know, my mother had a drug abuse problem. She struggled with addiction to prescription pills her whole life. But today with fentanyl, one pill, just one pill can kill. So I've worked with Republicans to stop the flow of fentanyl that's poisoning families across Wisconsin. I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message. This fight hits close to home.
As I deteriorated, I needed something that would allow me to go from floor in the garage to floor in the home. Jason helped introduce to me all sorts of accessibility equipment. I have no questions about credibility and research. Personally, if somebody was asking me, I would say, here's who I would call.
Hi, I'm Jason with Access Elevator. Stop in and see us today.
It's easier than ever to save more than ever during the Flex Steel Factory Authorized Sale, happening now at Drury's in Fountain, Minnesota. Right now at Drury's in Fountain, Minnesota, you'll find exciting designs, stunning fabrics, and the best prices of the year. A savings of up to 40%. Sofas, sectionals, recliners, even luxurious leather. The possibilities are endless. Plus, there's even special financing on all Flex Steel furniture. Unlimited choices, special financing, and the best prices of the year. Now at Drury's in Fountain, Minnesota.
Scouting has helped them build confidence through problem solving, learning to cook over a fire, building a tent in areas that they don't always get exposed to.
It's not competitive. It really helps develop your son or daughter into a great human being.
This is a great opportunity for your child to get to know the outdoors, and there's so much that outside in nature can provide for our children, and having these experiences is what Scouting is all about.
When I called other lawyers, I wasn't even sure who was going to be representing me.
Once I called BGR and talked to Brian, I felt secure immediately. I'm so glad that I called Bikoff and Rody.
Enjoy the 80s while they last, because tomorrow is going to be the last day for it. Another nice afternoon out there, and then look at that nice cool down, a little bit windy, although after that it's going to be much better out there. I'm not a fan of the 80s during fall time. I want it to be colder.
Yeah, it definitely could be a little cooler out there, but can't complain, right? Well, we want to thank you for watching News 8 Now this weekend. Have a great week, everyone.